I've been wanting to do a video on travel for a minute, specifically with regards to airports. I've been in about 9 to 10 airports in the past 2 months and been on about 15 flights, give or take, in different countries and in different states in the U.S. And I think that we miss kind of what needs to happen when we go through the airport. So it's going to be a bit of a lengthy video, but stick with me because there are things that you absolutely need to know. People are so lazy and we don't read and we don't think things apply to us and we just forget things. Yeah, no, you don't. So if you're going to book through third party, book through booking.com or Priceline or even Kayak. But whatever airline you book through, and even if you book through third party, you need to read every little piece of information because you need to know measurements for your carry-on, you need to know measurements for your checked bag, what you can and cannot include, and you also need to make sure that you have the number of the third party that you booked through. Like, you need to get in touch with a live person. I will tell you this personally, that I've booked through booking.com or Priceline or Expedia. Expedia is a good one. But you still, when it comes to any issues with your flight, you still have to talk to the party that you booked through. And oftentimes, there's not a live person to talk to. And it takes a heck of a long time to try to figure out how to get in touch with someone. So I will just say that if you're going to book through third party, you make sure you have all the numbers necessary to get in touch with a live person should something happen to your flight. Also, make sure that you know the standard baggage size for a checked bag and a carry-on. There are carry-ons and checked bags of various sizes from ginormous to itty-bitty, but there is one standard for both, which will pretty much get you on any flight. But I have learned through booking with certain ones that you may get a cheap ticket, but sometimes that doesn't include luggage, like none at all. And I've booked other cheap flights where you get one bag and it's less than the actual standard given by an airline. And every airline is different in their weight restrictions. I had to get rid of 10 pounds when I got to Fiji because their previous flight through another airline had allowed me 10 more pounds. But when I got there, they're like, well, this new flight, you have to offload. So I got rid of about $200 worth of stuff, which shouldn't surprise me. I mean, some of it I'm okay with losing. Some of it I wasn't okay with losing, but such is life, whatever. But you need to know the internal dimensions of your bag as well as the external dimensions of your bag. If you have any parts of a carry-on, I carry a backpack, and my backpack has some extra pockets on the outside that make it bulky and hard to get in the overhead bin. So I would rather stick with a rollaway carry-on that is not huge, but fits the proper size and dimensions that are recommended by most airlines. Now, you do need to read every little bit as regards to your checked baggage and your carry-on because they will make you empty it. And I would suggest coming in under, because chances are you're going to have something in your computer bag that needs to come out and go in your checked bag or your whatever. Just make sure that you allow 1 pound less in each of your bags. If you have anything liquid that you must take with you on the plane, make sure it is 4 ounces or less. And yes, do put it in a clear plastic bag. Chances are they won't make you take it out. They're not doing that anymore. But I've met airports in the United States where, yes, you have to take some of your stuff out, and others where you don't. Sometimes they make you take out your electronics. Sometimes they say leave them in. I don't know how they figure all that mess out. I don't care. Just, I'd rather be prepared. And so if you have any liquids, clear bags, zippers, if you have anything like toenail clippers that look like scissors, or you have those little manicure scissors that you use, put those in your checked bag because everybody's different and those can be considered a weapon. Though I don't know how far you're going to get with 1/4 of an inch of a blade, but whatever. If you're in doubt about anything, put it in your checked bag. Now, I will also say that battery packs seem to be a thing that you can't carry anymore. Now, I did get through most security with my battery pack. Nobody said anything with me having a battery pack in my carry-on, but I will tell you now that you don't want to risk it, and there are plugs in every airport, and there are USB ports in nearly every station where you can do computer work, because they realize that people have business to attend to, so they have USB ports readily available in most airports worldwide. I will say that if you're going to get any duty-free items, do not purchase any duty-free items until you hit your first international port, because they're going to take it from you. If you want something from a port where you are, you better be prepared to find a post office and post that thing before you leave. Because if you purchase something in your home country and you intend to go to an international port, they're not going to let you have it. So just be aware that duty-free items don't need to be bought until you get to your first international port, because they're not going to check your bags beyond that point. If you have any liquid such as water or Coke or whatever, get rid of it. Before you get, where was I? Beats the heck out of me. Forgot where I was, but I was getting ready to board the plane. I'd already been through airport security. I'd gone to the bathroom, which, here's the bathroom, and the stand for the plane is right over here. Well, I had just gotten water, because I have headaches and sometimes I need to take medication. I want to have my own water, and they don't always provide that water when I need it. So I had just gotten water out of the water fountain right by the, ticketing stand that lets you on the plane. Well, when we get outside, they have tables set up so they can re-inspect your bags, and they made me pour out the water that they saw me put in the bottle. So I'll just say, liquids, drink it or get rid of it. What else can I tell you? Pack what you want, but I'm going to tell you as somebody who's been traveling for a decade, usually you want to take 3 to 4 pairs of clothing that are nice, in season, interchangeable tops and bottoms, so you can wear it without looking like you wore the same thing 50 times. And 3 or 4 sets of clothing that you don't mind losing, that you can interchange. Because chances are you're going to have to, if you have to ditch anything, you want to have some things in your suitcase that you are willing to get rid of, that don't cost you a fortune, that you had planned on kind of, playing around with, getting dirty with. That's just a suggestion. And get some shoes that can go with casual or fancy, because you don't want to carry 50 pair of shoes. And speaking of shoes, I always wear my shoes, like for years I have worn my shoes not tied. It puts it tight enough to stay on my feet, and loose enough should I have to get to the airport and take them off, that I can. And half the time I do have to take them off. The U.S. is still making people take their shoes off. And I would recommend that if you're gonna go through airport security, minimalize what you have to take off. For example, belts, jackets, vests, anything that you might have to take, because they're going to make you take off your jacket, they're going to make you take off your vest, anything that you have over a shirt, anything that is excessive, a sweatshirt, a hoodie, they're going to make you take that off. So it's kind of best if you wear something that has no belt loops. I mean, I know those of us, we're going to have to do that, but if you can wear stuff that's stretchy and that's loose and airy, that has maybe a tie instead of to secure your pants instead of a belt. Try not to layer up, and if you do layer, throw your jacket in. Just go ahead, take it off, throw it in your bag, and put it on the belt. And if they say put things in a separate bin, do what they tell you to do. They're doing it for a reason, and chances are, if you don't do that, they're going to take your bag and look at it anyway. So if you have any doubts about what should go in your carry-on bag, put it in your checked bag. What else can I say? Don't rush. Pay attention. Listen to what they say. If you hear, you're going to have TSA agents all over the place telling you what to do. Some of them will say one thing, some will say, open your eyes, be constantly looking at the TSA agents because they're going to say, you come here, go that way, da 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 da, whatever. I mean, people don't pay attention, and lines would move a lot faster if you're looking, have your passport and your boarding pass ready. There are many airlines who are not taking paper forms, and there are many airlines who are not taking digital form. Make sure that you have a boarding pass in both forms, along with your passport, open to the page with your picture. If you have glasses or a hat, take them off. They want to see your face. They want to make sure that everything is as it should be, but have every form of identification. Have every form of documentation. If you're going to a country that requires you to have a plan to get out, have it. If you don't, most Americans can stay in places for 90 days without having to have a visa. Not so anymore. In most places, we're actually required to get a visa for anything still even under 90 days. If you doubt, get a visa. Chances are you can get an electronic visa, which will cost you from anywhere from $20 to $50. And that'll give you at least 90 days in any country. If you're not required to have a visa, and you're staying upwards, if you're staying more than 60 days, go ahead and get one anyway. Make sure that you have all of that. And if you have to, make sure that you have your flight out, and make sure that you have your itinerary. And don't pull it up on the app. Actually have also screenshots and downloaded documentation so that if your app decides not to work, like mine did, I missed a plane by 4 minutes because my phone decided to reboot. Not that that would have helped me in the moment, which is when it helps to have hard copies of stuff. If your phone decides to be ridiculous and reboot itself, which takes about 5 minutes or more, it helps to have hard documentation of all of your stuff so that if you get to the gate, they can take a look at it and scan it from there. So, I mean, I recommend, as much as we're in the digital age, hard copies of your documents are still relevant to the moment. And what else? Yeah, I'm just saying, like, every airport is different. The smaller airports tend to be a little bit harder because they don't have as many people working to get you through the process as you think. Most of the time, once you get past the ticketing counter and you get into the line to go through the TSA customs, whatever, before you get to your actual gate, you can bank. That's at least a half hour stand in that line. And depending on what country you're in, the larger the country, the bigger the lines are going to be. And depending on the airline, if it's a more popular airline, you're going to stand in line a little bit longer for your ticket. And then, you're going to get, and depending on the time of the day, I will tell you that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are great days to fly. Monday sucks. Friday through, forget it. Tuesday through Thursday are the best days to pick. They're cheaper tickets. But when you get out of after you get through, and don't crowd the ticketing counter. If they say they're going to open at a certain time, they're not going to let your particular flight number in until 3 hours prior to boarding. I know we think that's not a lot of time, and it's not. But generally, every country that I've been in and every state's pretty good about getting you there on time. Don't crowd the people. Let them set up. Let them do their job. They if you're through the ticketing and they know you're on that flight, those same people that are taking your tickets actually have to make it back to the gate to let you on the plane anyway. So it's not like they want you to be late. It's not like they're not trying their best to get you there. People hate it when you crowd them because it makes them feel like you don't have the patience. And I mean, board when they say board. Don't get in line before your group or your zone or whatever it's called. Just don't. Because they are very particular about how they load the plane. They're very specific about why they do it. And you just cause problems when you don't listen. Listen, pay attention, do what you're asked to do, and then get on the plane and get off the plane in an orderly fashion. I mean, we're all going to the same place. If we're on that flight. They're not going to leave without you if you have a ticket for that plane and you make it through the booking and they're not. So just don't push it. Don't crowd. Listen, pay attention. When you get on the plane, make it to your seat as quickly as possible. Put your bags away as quickly as possible. Make sure that you actually, when you get to the gate, make sure your carry-on fits. And a lot of times they're going to ask for roll-away carry-ons if they can actually ticket it and put it away because they don't have enough cabin space in the smaller planes. But again, smaller planes have different requirements, and smaller airports are a little bit more difficult to get through because they don't have the staff. So be patient with them. Understand that you might be a little stressed, but they're going to get you through as quickly as possible. And their goal is to get you on that flight, and they will do their best. If you see handicapped folks while you're waiting and they're in wheelchairs and all that stuff, don't be a shit. And excuse my language. Of course, when I got to one particular airport, they just wanted to let them all in. And I'm thinking, can we not zip line like one handicap in a wheelchair, one regular person, one handicap in a wheelchair, one regular person? I understand if they're a family, but if they're not, I mean, we can make it work. But don't be a turd. If they want to get them through, just let them. What else? There's just so much, but the biggest thing is to read everything. I know we don't have the attention span for it, but you miss things when you don't read. And if you get insurance for your flight or for your bags, read exactly what it covers. Because chances are, if you miss a flight for something that you did, you're going to have to book a whole nother flight, which is another what? I don't know, grand. If you miss the flight because of something they did, they will rebook, or nature, they'll rebook you. Read everything. Do what is asked. Make sure that you know the airline that you're going on. Why are they cheap? Why are they expensive? So I don't know. I cannot reiterate enough how infuriating it is. Be prepared to be infuriated when you don't read, when you don't listen, when you don't pay attention, when you don't have your documents ready, when you're packed to the hilt. Just to avoid stress, do the bare minimum when it comes to your luggage. Do the absolute maximum when it comes to your documentation. Have every form ready and available. And, if you have any questions, hit me up here on my YouTube channel, because I have been around the world a lot in the last decade, and will be more than glad to share some more insights, because I have been violated in airports, having been felt up by a woman who felt it was necessary to put her hands in my pants, and thank God I was wearing workout gear with shorts on the inside, but there's nothing quite like being violated like that. I've also worn braces and had to go drop trowel behind the scenes. That, it's embarrassing. I've been pulled out because I travel to some questionable places in the world, and they're often targeting certain people, and I'm the odd man out, because if you look at the other two that they generally pull out, you'd think, well, okay, terrorist association, maybe, and then there's me, but anyone can be a terrorist. And because I'm a single female over 30, they make assumptions about certain things. But do what they ask you to. Don't open your mouth. Answer the questions that they ask without giving more information than necessary. Be honest about what you're doing and why you're doing it. The questionable countries that I go to, they've asked me questions, and I've told them, this is why I'm here. And they go, well, then why this and why that? And I'm very honest. And even I've had to be honest with certain other immigration systems, because there's things that I did that I didn't know were technically illegal for people of my age. But see, that's something that you don't always know. And I told him, I said, if I'd have known it was illegal, I wouldn't have done it, because I plan on coming back here to visit, because I love it and I love the people. And so make sure it wasn't anything bad. I was volunteering, but the way in which I was volunteering was considered illegal for someone over 35. And I didn't know there was an age limit on that work because I know a number of people that do that type of work. And I was thinking, well, why is there an age limit? But that's an unusual circumstance or situation. But it is best to know everything you can about the country you're going to before you go. Know what you can engage in, what you can't engage in. Make sure that you have the appropriate insurance, the appropriate, homeland documentation, like you're a citizen of what country, da da da. Your passport may suffice for that, but I always carry a copy of my birth certificate. As a veteran, I carry my veteran card and a copy of my DD-214. I have my driver's license. I have my social security card. I have, you name it, I have it. So lots, just read. I can't tell you, you will save yourself heartache and frustration if you read. And as always, if you have any questions, like, I will do my best to help. I will just say that, flying internationally provides so many opportunities to see things, but also experience other cultures. And that's part of what I love about what I've been able to do. But the last 2 months has been hellacious because of some of the things that I've encountered and some of the problems that I've had technologically. So I will just say, just do your best to read, minimally pack, maximally document, hard copy, blah, blah, whatever. And just prepare yourself for what happens. Just listen. If you listen, you'll save yourself a lot of heartache. And good luck and enjoy your journey wherever it takes you.